Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 150 of Trials and Trebuchets. What a fucking huge number, eh?
Oh my gosh, that's like 350s.
Oh my god!
That's
I'm
50
your
times
dungeon
3.
master.
That's like 625s.
50, 100, 150.
That's almost 200.
That's 151s. I'm your dungeon master.
No.
Luke.
Episode 151 is next
150.
week.
And joining me, I'm the dungeon master. I said that 550 times. And joining me are my players, whose names are as follows.
Hello, I am the 150th edition of Ben, and I play the level 7 gnome wizard Windsor Wallaby, along with his cuddly little companion, Mr. Wiggles.
Meow, 150, meow.
The 150th meow.
I'm the 150th Carla, and I play the level 7 Tiefling Roguelock, who's at 150 Integrity Eye Idleberry. Indamati spills the tea. Now we ought to steal some parts. Delnis Ray 3 Secret Society, where they try to hold some farts.
Delnis Ray 3.
Or they try to prove they're smarts.
Okay.
Oh my god.
Delnis Ray 3 Secret Society, where they are smart.
Where they try to prove they're smarts. Yeah,
Okay,
whatever.
just
I think that's great.
Add Sam's statement.
Yeah, I'll just like
Clean.
merge it all together.
Clean.
It'll wash out in the edit.
No, you won't.
That is also my intro.
Hi, I'm Sarah, and I play Mira Marchand, the level 7 half-elf bard. Back in Scandal, Mira stole Delnis's heart. That was a precursor for now stealing some arms, and legs, and eyes, and organs.
Whee.
From
This
Delnis?
is actually.
Oh my
I'm
gosh.
not going to rule out any potential sources, no.
Okay.
Just kidding.
If she dies, she
That's
dies.
how
That's cursed.
Mira tries
That's
to
what I've
pursue
always said.
Joan.
Though it is the 150th episode, it's only the 140th version of Sam, who plays the level 7 human sorcerer Serenep Cinderman. Ready to do some Robin of the body parts?
Yes.
Yay!
And last time on Trials and Trebuchets, the students greeted the Marun team after their extended stay in the plane of Isithil before investigating a 6th set of footsteps, which they very carefully concluded were not Louds. Moving on, after a curt reminder from Penny Royal, the students rendezvoused with Delnis Raithrin, Shay, her mentor, in Dumati Parlor's home. The talk took a theoretical turn as the topic of soul pebble to flesh golem transferal arose, which, in theory, Indumati could help supply a flesh golem for, but any ritual to complete the transfer would require witchy interference or just a good old potluck. And that's where we left off last time. The students, Serenep Cinderman, Winslow Wallaby, Integrity Idleberry, Mira Marchand, and their accompanied Delnis Raithrin, made their way back to campus through the wonderful concourse. What a good magical device that is for just simplicity and moving between places. And you had been tasked to gather a jar of preserved eyeballs. The one of the singular components Indumati was lacking to complete her flesh golems that she had on hand in her workshop / shed. Just have them on hand to do basic shit. And so at this hour of the day, around just past noon, approaching about just after 1-ish maybe, you all are going to make your... Would you tell me what you do? You could take a variety of courses. You could go set up potluck stuff. You could completely ignore any of this and just go on with your regular lives. You could go and break into the necromancy department. I know a couple of you have stuff to do at the archives. You tell me what's happening.
It sounds like going to the necromancy department and stealing some preserved eyeballs is probably the immediate priority here, I would assume.
Yes.
Yeah, to at least get that checked off the list before.
I also need one eyeball, by the way.
Oh, interesting. Well, you have 2.
Fun.
Well, I need a third. Not attached to my physical being.
Okay. So, the 4 of you, the 5 of you, in fact, because Delnis
The 6 of us.
The 6 of you, because Wiggles
Shit.
is here.
Yes.
Make your way. That was ominous. The 6 of you make your way to the necromancy department. Just a little stone's throw away from the concourse itself. The necromancy
A pebble
department.
toss, if you will.
A toss of a pebble. A toss of a soul-laden pebble. If you would.
All right, bye,
have that.
artists.
Yeah, just chuck him down
We
the road.
wouldn't throw artists.
Yeah, there's
we would
actually
throw
7 of
Altine.
us here, if you can't.
Oh, yeah.
Oh my god.
Those are all teens.
No, Altine doesn't count.
Altine's not a person.
He's just
Well,
kind
no,
of
he's
like
a pebble.
not a real person, kind of. Like he's just nothing. He's
Every
not even
episode.
supposed to be around.
Every episode.
I'm sorry, it was right
They
there.
said it doesn't really matter.
Yeah. Plus, he's like already dead.
Okay. If you don't recall what the necromancy department looks like, it's been a fair time since we've seen it, since you have all gone and hung out, because none of you have classes there other than Delmas. And she's not a player character, so I don't describe what she does or what she sees. So, to describe it for you all, there's a small tunnel bored into the stone, like a archway of sorts. There's at this time of day, a closed, like, cast iron gate or like little doorway, essentially almost what a prison cell would have, right? Like that kind of like door made of cast iron with like the bars and everything. It looks very ornamental, but still secure. Inside there's a stairwell and like a hallway going left, a hallway going right, and the second floor has a similar kind of layout. There's storerooms and laboratories with large workshop tables and places where people dissect bodies and embalm things. And you might know there's a lot of gargoyles in there.
Yes.
Who at this hour of the day like to wake up and yell.
Yay!
Oh no.
So, as you approach, the unknown number of you in a mass approach the necromancy department, there's a couple of people like hanging out outside on like a bench, seemingly chatting. You get the idea that maybe they're here waiting for the gargoyles, which are kind of an urban legend on campus, to start screaming. They do not look like they're to be students, or at least two of them don't look to be students. One of them does look to be a student and is like enthusing her friends about like, okay, they should start screaming any second now, right? As the rest of you kind of walk up. Are you being sneaky in your approach to the department?
Why would we?
Yeah, I feel like at this point, just walking up to the
Students
gate,
are taking their parents around everywhere to look at
Yeah.
stuff. So like,
True.
we're just
True enough.
students hanging out.
You don't
going
ask
places.
some random stranger going into some other classroom what the fuck they're doing. You just kind of let them do their thing and walk on by.
Yeah,
Sure,
and most
sure.
of the people on campus are adults who don't know that the necromancy department closes early, so like,
True. Okay. So, that being said, you're just going to walk up to the front of the necromancy department. You walk through this nice stone archway and up to a locked iron gate. What would you like to do from here?
Oh boy,
Open
not
it?
another door.
Is it locked?
It is locked, yes.
Is there a keyhole?
There is a keyhole. It looks like a key that weighs like 10 pounds would slot into it. In fact, it's
Okay.
a massive keyhole. You
Could
could
you
probably
look through it?
You could I mean, it's just like a big shackle like lock in the actual iron. There's no back on the mechanism. It seems to be unlocked and locked from the front. So if you got locked in there, you'd be kind of fucked actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that's what happened last time.
Delmas, do you
What
have
kind of a handle does the door have?
It has an ornamental handle. It has little skulls on it made of cast iron.
Oh fuck, that's so cool.
We're stumped.
Looking at the building, are there any like open windows or anything?
Sereneth, you take a step back to like look at the actual facade of the building, kind of carved in relief into the stone walls of Wildcliff's cavern-like walls. On the second floor, it seems the room right above this little entryway has a small round stained glass window with one of like the panels cracked open. Like it's like a stained glass window that's split down the middle, and one of those halves is like open.
Okay. Where's Mr. Wiggles currently?
In my hat.
He is in Wiggle.
He's in
Mr.
my
Wiggles
hat.
is in Winslow Wallaby's hat. You see two little cat ears poked up from the top of Winslow's hat as the tip has been cut off for weeks now.
I'm going to go over to where Winslow is,
Yes.
and I'm gonna say, Mr. Wiggles.
And
Like she's gonna look into
down,
the
yeah.
bowl of the hat. Like, Mr. Wiggles.
You look down and see Mr. Wiggles, akin to what I imagine it would look like if you were to take the lid of a basket off and look inside like a cobra, like a basket that has a cobra in it, like a snake, like a snake charmer had their basket. You look down and see Wiggles just kind of seated upon Winslow's head, the ears poking out. He will turn his head, crick his neck 90 degrees, and look up at you and say,
I love that with the knowledge that Winslow is like 2 feet tall.
yeah. And he will say, good afternoon. How can I help you?
there's a window above this little gate that is opened. Would you be able to go up there and see if there's a way to, I guess, open maybe a side door or anything like that to let us in?
I mean, this is normally the hour of the day that I lay down for my afternoon nap. So
How
I
about
could.
what if I promise to give you the really fluffy pillow in my room and I'll put it in front of the fireplace for you?
Ooh.
And I'll light the fire for you and you can take a nap there.
That's a pretty good deal, Mr. Wiggles. It's a pretty good deal.
Make an animal handling check with advantage.
I know what cats want in their lives.
Just wants a fluffy bed and a nice warm fire.
Nat 20 and a 5. So nat 20.
Damn.
Holy shit.
Serenus is very convincing.
Starting 150 out with a bang, eh?
Hey.
Mr. Wiggles will look at you, his eyes shut in contemplation, that face cats make when they squeeze their faces, and he'll say, I mean, I can go in there, but I'll need some way to get up. I can't just climb rock, sheer faces. There's not.
I could throw you.
I can levitate you for a less violent way of doing things. Yeah, because we're not going to throw the cat, right?
I mean, he's durable, right?
Flashbacks.
Which plan would you prefer,
Apparently
Mr.
cats
Wiggles?
have 9
I-
lives.
If you could just put a ladder, and I could just walk up, maybe that way you wouldn't have
Does
to do magic to me, which is a little uncomfortable. I won't lie.
How far is the window thing?
It's 20 feet in the air, or 20 feet
There-
up the wall.
The window, does the window have bars?
No.
It's just an open window?
Yeah, it's like an open stained glass window.
Do any of us have a ladder?
I would love it if you had a ladder.
Like,
Mr. Wiggles, do you know how to tightrope?
I know how to walk on
What?
a rope, if that's what you're asking. I'm very good at just keeping my balance and remaining upright.
Does anybody have any, like, wood?
I mean, no, I don't really keep wood on myself.
what specific type of wood? As she reaches into her components pouch.
Oh my god.
Like,
A lot of it? Just like a
About
plank?
just 20 feet to make a little walkway up. I didn't expect this to be like a puzzle. Honestly, this is all I
this is what
expected.
happens with doors
I
all the
know,
time.
I know.
I mean, if you say
I don't have like planks or anything like that.
Integrity.
Well, if you say that you can walk on ropes, I can probably make my rope tie all the way to the window and let you walk through.
Yeah, that sounds like it would be a breeze, actually.
Okay, so
So I just need to go in there and do what? Unlock the door? What am I doing?
Not unlock it, but I guess we're gonna try and see, I guess, first if there's another door into the building or if there's a lower window that can be opened.
unless
that
you
kind
can
of
open the door,
quick
that would be
reconnaissance.
Hmm.
All right, put the rope up. Let me climb.
okay. So
And he'll Winslow kind of like hop out of the top hole of your hat and land nimbly on the floor and kind of like prance around, limbering up, as it were, after a evening, afternoon, morning, entire life really of just luxury and relaxation. Integrity Idleberry, you have a rope that you'd like to use?
yes. I'm going to use my magic rope to allow it to tie to or anchor itself somewhere by the window. Is there like a lamp or something?
From your vantage point, I think you might be able to see that there's like cabinets on either side of the window that the rope could attach itself to, and that would be good enough for a cat to climb up, but not a person, if that makes sense, right?
Yeah, so I'm going to tie the end of my magic rope to one of these cabinets, please.
Absolutely. You pull out this silvery thin piece of or length of rope. Delness looks at it and has the moment of realization that it's the rope she gave you, and has a silent kind of like appreciation for people using things that she's given to them, right? And you all see this rope kind of as Integrity just like drops it on the floor. It like snakes its way up the wall, similar to if you've ever seen like a piece of like a creeper vine almost like weave its way up or around a tree in like sped up time. I don't know if you've ever seen a video like that, but it like winds itself along the cobblestones and like pulls itself up through that window. I need you, Integrity Idlebear, to make me a stealth check.
Ooh.
What is that? That's some rope.
And a snake! A snake
Oh,
is going to the
snake.
necromancer building.
I got 17 plus 9.
Okay.
Holy
Okay.
shit.
So that's
The rope-
26?
Yeah, the rope
Yeah.
wraps around one of these cabinets. You don't hear anything that would indicate detection or anything else. And you can pull the rope taut so that Wiggles can tightrope walk up the length of it.
Please don't fall.
I would never. And he prances up it. Ben,
Yeah.
would you be so kind as to take over and tell me from here what Wiggles will be doing?
Well, first, he's gonna climb up the rope and sort of go to where the ledge of the window is.
Yes, absolutely.
And I think after sort of observing the general area, he's probably gonna find the safest way to hop down to the floor.
Okay, so as Mr. Wiggles climbs up this rope and reaches that window sill, he very quickly realizes that there's a person seated in this room. It seems to be someone's office. There's someone sitting in there, a dwarf with red hair, who's wearing a pair of what looks like earmuffs, almost, right? On his bag, Wiggles smells a very delicious wafting scent of some sort of fried good, like a pork rind or some such thing, fresh, greasy in the paper bag. You I think all at this point can hear a little crinkling of someone reaching into a paper bag of pork rinds from up top, but don't really make that association of what it is. But then Mr. Wiggles sees that there is a person in this room. He does not seem to have taken notice of the rope being tied in his office. And so how would you like to proceed?
So Mr. Wiggles will hop down the safest way possible, stealthily,
Okay.
hopefully.
Roll a stealth check for me then.
Oh shit! I think a cat has +4 or something to stealth. I know that because it has.
Luckily, I have my monster manual right here, but don't read into why. I might have it with me. Please.
Okay.
Mr. Wiggles.
I know that a cat has 2 dexterity at least.
Let me find the cat.
Ooh, that's a good roll off the bat.
Cats do have +4 to stealth, Ben. You're correct.
Okay, so that would be 21.
Ooh, excellent.
Shit.
So
We're on a roll.
tell me what it looks like as Wiggles stealthily navigates through this office to the front to the office door, which is unlocked.
I would say that like a typical cat that's sort of stalking around. He's low to the ground and he's shuffling along really quickly, so it looks like it's just a blur along the edge of the room.
Excellent. So Mr. Wiggles slips on through this room. He smells that delicious scent of pork rinds from the desk, probably brand new, fresh, picked up this morning, and just hears a really absurdly loud crunching as the professor's sitting there, just chomps on them, has those earmuffs on, so presumably cannot hear himself or anything else that's really going on in the room, and seems to be eating pork rinds and looking down and grading term papers, right? And Mr. Wiggles can slip easily into the hallway of the necromancy department. Looking left, he sees laboratory doors, 3 of them to the left. One of them is slightly ajar and murmuring or quiet voices might be able to be heard from it. And looking to the right, there are similarly there are 2 laboratory doors and a small alcove where there's a statue that has little storage cupboards behind it. And then in front of him, there's the staircase down to the first floor where he would come back down face to face with the rest of you.
Okay. So down the staircase is where the door would be, I think?
Yes, correct.
Okay. And the back of the door looks like it doesn't have any sort of mechanism to unlock. It just looks like we can only enter it or attempt to unlock it from the front, it seems.
So Mr. Wiggles sneaks his way down these stone stairs, and as he comes to a rest, he does a similar thing where he pauses before entering the hallway, looking left and right, tons of gargoyle statues, different laboratory doors. He sees that supply cupboard at the far end of this hallway, the one which you would probably recognize as where the Pebble Demon's little weird pebble room was, if you remember all that time ago. And finally, looking at the 5 of you plus a pebble in your pocket if you want to count those people. Mr. Wiggles sees you, his owner, Mr. Winsler, and on the other side of this door, this iron barred door. On the right side of the door, he sees that there's a big old, like 10-pound iron key, probably like 5 feet away, just resting on a hook. It has like a little key tag that says, "Does not leave Necromancy Department, property of Necromancy Department."
Oh, how big is the key?
It's like 10 pounds.
No,
Like, it's big enough to like chunk into like the front padlock. As it
okay.
were.
So Mr. Wiggles can see that.
Mr. Wiggles will see that and then quietly walk up to the door and quietly say, "There's a key hanging right here."
Do you
And
mind
he'll-
if I sort of like take a look?
He'll like be mid licking his paw and just like look at you in a silent affirmation, Winsler.
Okay. I am going to tap into Mr. Wiggles' senses with the Find Familiar spell feature.
Perfect.
So let's see. Yep. Okay. So I'm gonna see through his eyes and his ears.
Perfect. You look
And
out
I'm gonna
his
try and
ears.
guide him to like look at the key.
Yeah, you look out his ears. They're quite fuzzy, but more useful are his eyes to look out. And you see the key, and you can Wiggles orients himself and heads towards the key. What are you having him do?
I wish to just like sort of have him analyze the overall detail and like the shape and how like basically just gauge
Absolutely.
the key itself.
Absolutely. And I presume that's to use your conjuration ability and conjure a magical version of that key.
Yes.
Yes? Okay, so in that case, roll an Arcana check for me to see how well you can mimic that key. It doesn't seem to be overly complicated, but
Ooh, that's a 21 as well.
this is just going off seamlessly. Wiggles stares at
Actually,
the
wait,
key.
that's 24.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Double
amazingly.
seamlessly.
Yeah. You do it even better. Wiggles analyzes the key very quickly, you seeing the exact same information, Winsler, and in your hands can conjure a glowing, magical, magic-made material kind of key. It's sizable but much lighter than the cast iron version of it. What color is it glowing? What color is it glowing, Winsler?
It's got a nice golden yellow sheen.
Perfect. A nice golden yellow sheen, and you can cut off the senses of seeing through your familiar's eyes and slot that key right into that big old padlock, Winsler.
I am going to do just that with a loud kerchunk.
And with a loud ka-chunk, the padlock unlocks and the door swings wide open. Can you make a stealth check for me with disadvantage since you specifically said you did it loudly?
I mean, there's no quiet way to insert a giant metal like key into a solid iron door. I don't
You never
think.
know.
Disadvantage, you said?
Yes, please.
Aw, that was a nat 20 on one of them. Fuck.
That's
Aw.
terrible.
So I got an 8.
All right.
We were doing so well.
Yes.
I mean, technically we didn't use the real key.
True. So as this door creaks open and a very loud cha-chunk goes, and you see the padlock kind of like fall out of its little hoop and onto the floor, and makes a loud crunk sound. You hear from either side of this first floor hallway, you hear voices that go, "Oh, is somebody coming in?" And then another person goes, "No, they should be gone for the day." As gargoyles seem to have noticed your entry and are
Oh, of
starting
course.
to
God.
yell.
I'm gonna
What
say
a
out loud, just in
God.
case anyone's like paying attention to us from the gate. Wow, those gargoyles are always so loud when we go to our late night necromancy tutorial with our mentor. Crazy guys, am I right?
Absolutely.
Yeah,
They're
totally
so
crazy.
extra.
Yeah.
Jeez, every time.
Every time.
I'm just trying to learn.
Yeah.
Right,
And
Dylan?
Delmas, being an actual necromancy student, will hopefully vouch for us.
Delna seems to be frozen in
I
in
like
place.
nudge her gently with my elbow, like, right?
Yeah,
Delmas?
I always need necromancy lessons from my mentor, who's the same as your mentor.
Yeah, our
Or
mentor.
not. Our mentor.
Wow,
Our
crazy.
you hear, make a deception check, Mira, with advantage.
Oh, Lord.
Fuck, where's my die anyway, even?
Oh my
Oh
god.
no.
There it is. Okay, I'm very glad that was with advantage because the first roll was a fucking 1.
Oh my god.
Second
yeah.
roll
There's a one.
is an 8 plus 7, which is a 15.
Okay, perfect. You hear one gargoyle that goes, kind of believable.
Kind of.
Just at the top of its stone lungs. Are you all gonna scoot through into the necromancy department and close
Let's
the door
scoot.
behind you?
We're
you
scooting.
want-
Yeah,
Are you gonna close the door behind you?
No.
It's not gonna lock because the lock's on the ground.
No.
Okay.
We don't want to lock ourselves in.
You
Yeah,
leave
I don't want to be. I don't want to be in this room with the gargoyles again.
You leave the door hanging open. Where do you want to go? Do you want to go up to the second floor, or are you gonna look around on this first floor?
Well, we should probably ask Delnis because Delnis would probably know where
Where the
Yeah.
eyeballs be.
they
Okay.
keep the extra stuff. Because we might
Delnis-
not have to go on a whole thing.
In that case, Delnos will say quietly, "There's an embalming lab on the second floor, but there's also the supply cupboard down there." And then you hear one of the gargoyles. You see its head turn over. It's like a bald man with a big beard, and the gargoyle like hunched over goes, "It's drafty. Close the door." As he sees the fucking like iron door hanging there.
Oh my god.
But embalming lab upstairs and a storage cupboard down there.
I guess the
Maybe
storage
this-
cupboard's the fastest, right?
Maybe, but I don't know if they'd keep it there.
Oh, yeah, I don't really know anything. Okay, embalming lab then?
You know stuff. I know. Don't put yourself down.
No, I
You
just
do
mean I
know
don't know
stuff.
anything about eyeballs.
But they might be in there, like just spare ones that aren't really good. But Indie made it sound like they might be in
Yeah.
a more important place. But I'm not.
We probably want some like really good eyeballs, right?
But you're gonna just polymorph them though.
Yeah, that's true, but like I don't know how that works either, so I don't know if like it would be a better golem that would like work better if the parts were better, maybe?
Yeah. I mean,
I'm
like,
tiptoeing up the stairs.
Okay, fair enough. You tiptoe up the stairs. Could you make a perception check for me?
Sure.
Uh-oh.
As the rest of you presumably follow behind her.
Yes.
Everyone's doing good today, or is that bad?
Finally.
I got another nat 20.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
This is
This is a
love
perfect
these dice.
infiltration.
This is a really high density of nat 20s.
Smooth
My room is cold, but my dice are good.
They are hot.
So, Sereneth, as you wander up the stairs, your friends close behind you, muttering about, no, you super know stuff. You hear, or you immediately, as you like crest the stairs, you see in front of you that there's a professor. He's a like red, shaggy-haired dwarfen professor. You've seen him, I think, once before. The last time you guys stole from the necromancy department, all those weeks ago, which was diamonds.
Yeah.
You see him sitting at his desk, eating a bunch of pork rinds from a bag and grading papers. The door on the door, there's a golden nameplate that says Professor Ray Greybeard.
Ooh.
Okay.
And
So like
Is there any association with Zara?
Presumably. And he doesn't seem to be paying much attention to what's happening. He has earmuffs on, as you would very quickly notice. Presumably
for the gargoyles.
for the gargoyles. And since you don't have any earmuffs on, you would hear quiet chatter that sounds kind of aggressive coming from the right side of the hallway, where there is a lab door that's slightly ajar.
I have the image in my head for some reason of like if you look like from floor view, you just kind of like see her eyes poking up
Yes,
over.
that's what I was imagining too.
And like the second that she notices the teacher, she kind of freezes,
Yeah.
waits, and sees that they don't notice her, and she's gonna like kind of move, like
Crouch back
kneel
down.
down slightly,
Yeah.
and she's gonna turn to the others and like put her finger to her lips, and she's gonna say, "There's a professor right there."
You know,
Down this-
I didn't really think about this, but I shouldn't have come here. Because, like, if they catch me, I'm going to get in so much more trouble than any of the rest of you. Because, like, I'm an actual student of this department and they know me and have better expectations for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna put my hand on her shoulder and be
You
like,
can go,
"It's okay, it's okay." Is there another staircase?
No,
To
it's
go
just
upstairs?
it's just the one.
Okay, Delnis, if you want to, you can stay down here if you're worried about getting in trouble. We don't want to get anyone in trouble right now. So
I'll
if
be,
you're
like,
worried-
look out by the door, okay? And,
Okay,
like, if anyone's
perfect.
trying to leave, I'll just and she looks, like, sweaty. And
Okay,
she's, like,
okay, how
getting
about-
very nervous. I'll just make a
How
noise.
about this? Because like they're complaining about the door downstairs. Like, okay,
Mhm.
how about this? You take the key,
Mhm.
make it look like nothing happened at the door, like everything's fine. And you can wait outside for us.
Mhm.
We'll do a special knock at the door to let you know it's us, and you unlock it and let us back
Yeah.
out. Does that sound
I
good?
mean, that sounds perfectly fine. It's just iron bars, so I could just see you coming, but
That-
I can close it and wait for you out there.
Yeah.
And she'll like look at you Mira and like give you a thumbs up and be like, "Good luck. Don't get caught.
We won't.
The
We
rest
got
of you,
this.
Don't get caught." And she goes
Like how
back
it's
to
special, like don't get caught, Mira. Also, don't get caught, guys.
the rest of you.
Question: Is
What's
there
up?
is there like mouse holes anywhere like around here? Like any hole, like small holes in the walls or anything?
I think there would be. Yeah, that makes
Okay.
sense to me. Let me roll something quickly. Okay. You all see Delness turn on these stairs and like try to walk down them, and you just see her immediately stumble down to the landing, like almost like just slapstick comedy style fall. She just like rolls down the
Oh.
last 3 stairs almost as she was trying to be
Oh.
quiet. And like it just makes a big kaplunky noise as she just like eats it on the stairs. And she'll like pick herself up and like look over at you all and be like, "I'm okay. Good luck."
Okay.
And like crawl down the rest of the stairs almost.
Our greatest enemies
safe.
in this podcast are doors and stairs.
It's true. I warned you about stairs, Delmas.
Oh my god!
So Winsler.
Did you hear what happened to Integrity? She ate it.
So Winsler, there are a couple of mouse holes. There's a ton of cobwebs and like little spiders in like the apex of corners here in the necromancy department. All of them have their eyes on you. What do you want to be doing with that?
Okay, so just to get the layout, we went up the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
The professor's office is like on one side,
Just right in front of you as you
right
come
in
up
front
the
of us.
stairs. Yeah.
And then there's like
It's just a single hallway. Like it's a T intersection essentially. Like you
okay,
guys
so we
are
went up
coming
the stairs. Their office is at the very end, and then it splits into like 2 hallways,
Yep,
like right
essentially.
before theirs. Okay.
Yes.
And I'm just wondering because if
Absolutely.
like I'm just wondering where the mouse holes will go.
Let's say there's some going into the stairs, coming out every here and there. I think that this is a pretty mousy situation, you know? There's also gargoyles up here, so...
Okay, so I think I have a means of sneakily getting around.
Okay.
At least for me. I don't know about anyone else.
I mean, like I have invisibility, so
Oh yeah, you have that.
that.
You all quietly have this conversation like right at the bottom, or like right near the top of the stairs, quietly.
All right,
And- yes.
I'm gonna do something that I've always wanted to do.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to get out a pinch of powdered iron from my component
Okay.
pouch. I'm going to use enlarge reduce to reduce myself to tiny size,
Oh my
Okay.
god.
even smaller.
Tiny Windsor.
And crawl into the...
How small?
And now
I can't wait for the rap battle.
And now I'm going to use a cantrip that I have never used for the longest time.
Oh my god.
And I'm going to use a mage hand.
Oh my god. Okay.
And I'm going to pick myself up.
Okay. So you all see Winsler pull from his pouch all this stuff. He sprinkles powdered iron over himself, and it starts to shimmer with this magical glow, and he just goes and shrinks down, and then snapping his fingers quietly, a small spectral hand appears and picks him up by the scruff of his robe's collar,
Oh my god.
and he hangs here in the air in front of you all. What's up? What are you doing?
All right, so I'm gonna go and fly around and see if I can find any rooms that might have the stuff that we're looking for. So I figured this might be the quietest way for me to do it, so I'm not making any footsteps.
Windsor, you're like 3 octaves higher.
This happens when I'm this small.
You've tried this before?
I've never tried this before. It's very scary to be held up by the scruff of my robes with this magical hand.
Winsler, it's akin to you being essentially like 20 feet off of the ground almost. You being held at like 5 foot tall.
It's
Yeah.
very scary.
So you want to zoom around and see what all the rooms are about?
Yeah, I'm gonna try and zoom around as stealthily as possible to see if I can find what I would assume is an embalming room.
Okay.
Noom.
You noom out. You see the door in front of you that the professor doesn't seem to be regarding in any aspect. Professor Greybeard. You look at a couple of the other office doors. There's a Professor Alaro, Professor Crystaltooth. Those are the only 3 like professors' offices here. There's an independent researcher lab that you see is next to that statue. The statue is of like what looks like some doctor of a sort kneeling down and outstretching a hand. They have this really somber expression, and behind them there's just like assorted kind of like plants and different like dried reagents to be used in necromancies. You see that there is a laboratory door that is cracked open just slightly, which is Professor Alaro's lab. It says lab number 4, Professor Alaro, and then underneath it says prosthetics learning laboratory. And you hear a kind of angry voices coming from inside. You scoot past that unless you wanted to listen, and see another laboratory that says laboratory number 3, Professor Crystaltooth's embalming and anatomy workshop, which is seemingly closed and locked.
Is there a keyhole?
There is a keyhole, yeah, and there's also space, like a fair amount of space underneath the door as well.
Okay, so if I were to lower myself down on the ground, could I like flatten myself enough to sort of scoot under the door?
You can make an acrobatics check to do so.
Oh fuck. Oh fuck. I'm gonna get stuck.
Oh no.
Oh yeah, I'm absolutely stuck. That's an 11.
Okay. If you were all watching, I don't know if you were watching or just waiting for Winslow to report back, but if you were to perceive this, you would see Winslow lowered to the ground by his mage hand, and then as he crawls under, he can kind of get his shoulders underneath, but not quite, and then the mage hand gives you a little bit of a boost to like try to get you through. You think that might work, Winslow, but what it really does is just means that your hips can't go through, but your shoulders can't come out.
Oh, fuck.
So
I'm actually wedged.
So you're like completely wedged underneath this door.
All right.
Almost like a doorstop, like a little wooden doorstop.
All right, then. But I can see inside the lab, correct?
You can, yeah. It seems, from your perspective, these grandiose edifices of wooden workbenches. There's large cabinetry, all made of like cast iron with like purple tinted glasses. All of it, to your approximation, Winslow, looks to be like tens of feet tall. You don't know how tall it actually is in reality, but it just looks grand, like you're a small person looking up at skyscrapers in a downtown like megalopolis.
All right, well, I'm gonna get myself in there by using my teleport feature.
Perfect.
Honestly, I thought you were gonna say casting grease, and I was like preemptively.
Oh my! I could have done that.
Like grease is waiting.
But I mean, I have the ability to teleport, so why not just teleport?
Yeah.
Amazing. Okay, so that's just teleporting to anywhere that you can see
Within 30 feet.
Within 30 feet. You can very easily do so. It's just like a glitch in the Matrix, or just a glitch in a game. You don't even, like, if you were to perceive Winslow, you would not even see him disappear. You would just see that there was an absence of him now. Your mind was playing tricks on you. One of the golems might even say to another golem, "I think my mind was playing tricks on me. I think I just saw a little rat under there." And Winslow, you're now effectively in the embalming and anatomy lab. Did you want to unlock the door for your friends?
I will
just
unlock
the
door.
It's just like a little latch unlock. So
I will use all my strength to undo the latch, as I am very small.
The latch is undone and the door is pushed open gently. It does not squeak. The hinges are well maintained. What are the three of you doing?
I think that I think Sarah, like, after, like, oh yeah, the teacher's not paying attention, kind of like trying to look over to like see what's happening.
Yes.
Would she see the door move like to open?
Yeah, you see it swing slightly ajar into
Winslow
the hallway.
embarrassingly stuck and being pushed by
you
a mage.
also absolutely saw Winslow get stuck under the door for like 5 seconds. His little feet kind of like kicking as he was trying to push himself through, and then he just vanishes, and the door swings open.
Sereneth eternally vows that they're never going to bring that up.
Yep.
And
Let him have his pride.
Let him have his pride. This has happened like twice now, where like the internal thought of like, I'm not going to say anything about this if it ever comes up. And she'll look over to Mirror Integrity and she's going to say, I can cast invisibility, but I have only practiced enough that it really works to people.
Okay.
You don't have to worry about me. I can easily sneak.
Yeah, she's so sneaky.
I feel like if we take any chances whatsoever, something's gonna happen.
I'm going to put my hand on Sereneth's shoulder.
You reach way up.
way up there. I'm like,
Yeah.
trust me.
Okay, I trust you. And I'm gonna look over to Mira and I'm gonna like hold out my hand to cast invisibility on us so that we can get into the room.
Perfect. The two of you go invisible. It's quieter than that, but it does make a cool kind of shimmery effect as the two of you go invisible. Serenep, you can maneuver your way over to that door and quietly creep into the lab. Mira, are you going to immediately do the same?
I think I'm following behind, yeah.
Okay,
And I think
okay.
that, like, as we walk past, I might also, like, if I pick up on, like, any kind of arguing voices, like, linger just for half a second just to kind of, I wonder what that is. Like, is that something we need to worry about when we're leaving? Like,
Give me a perception check.
Gossip.
sure.
I would like to do the same.
Okay. Well, one moment, Integrity. Hold your horses.
Sorry, I'm getting excited.
Yeah. Mira's invisible. Yay.
Yay.
Is your dice disappearing
Sarah,
again?
did your
Yeah,
dice vanish?
it always ends up behind my laptop because there's like that gap here.
the
But
fuck?
that's a 12 plus whatever my perception bonus is, which is a 3. That is a 15.
Perfect. So a 15 as you creep up and like stand close to the door for just a moment as you pass on by. We'll get to that in a moment. Integrity. You're not invisible.
I'm not invisible.
So, and you would also like to, in a similar manner, stop by the door and eavesdrop in the same way Mira is.
Yes.
So, give me a stealth check and a perception check, please and thank you.
So for stealth, I got 24.
Okay.
And you said perception?
And a perception check, please. Yes.
I got 14.
Okay. So, Mira, you walk quietly and not really in need of taking any stealth because people aren't really listening right now, and the gargoyles only really see things. They don't really listen for anything. They're too busy yelling about shit on their own
They
time.
couldn't even if they wanted.
Yeah. So you walk quietly up to this door and then are immediately frightened when Integrity is just behind you. Like, you didn't even hear her moving. You didn't think that she was moving yet. She's just there. And the two of you listen for a moment, and you would hear familiar-ish voices. Definitely familiar to you, Mira, and maybe kind of familiar to you, Integrity. You would hear the voices of one Professor Alma Alaro and a angrier voice of, I think they're equally kind of heated. Both of these voices seem kind of heated. You would hear the voice of Adeline Wraithrin.
Ooh.
Oh,
Interesting.
shit.
Oh, I'm absolutely listening more to this
Oh,
if I hear
shit.
their voices.
Okay. and what you do in that moment here is Adeline finishing a sentence that says, "It's for the greater good. Just tell me what happened." And like hushed kind of. And Professor Alaro will say, "For the 5th time, I'm not going to tell you what happened to her arm. I never asked what happened to her arm. Please stop prying into it. These students, you shouldn't be eavesdropping on these students on campus." And Adeline will say, "I overheard it. I wasn't eavesdropping."
That's the same thing.
Mira, you want to stay?
Mira kicks open the door.
and
I
listen?
overheard this. Excuse you?
You want to stay and listen, Mira?
Ooh.
I might listen just for an additional few seconds, just to see if, like, because if Alma does give Adeline any information, I want to know that that is the case. So I think that I'm just going to, like, Integrity being the only person who isn't invisible and the most easy to nudge, I'll just nudge and be like, I'll catch up with you in a second.
Okay.
I'm going to just like
Thumbs up.
thumbs up. I don't think I really know where Mira's eyes are.
Thumbs up the air.
Opposite direction.
Yeah.
It's like the exact opposite reaction.
You hear a quiet whisper, and then you go thumbs up to the middle of the hallway. Mira, like 90 degrees away from where you're standing. And Integrity can just like you. It seems like she's barely even moving her feet, Mira, as she just like creeps off down the
Disappears
hallway
into the
Into the
shadows.
shadows.
Jesus.
into the shadows. She like
I
takes
love
2
it.
steps, and then you're like, "Where the fuck did she go?" And then you see like the door kind of nudge slightly as she enters into the other lab.
I imagine it's kind of like a swan. Like you see them glide across the water. It's like
Yes.
very smooth. But then if you look under the water and see their feet, it's like,
Yeah.
like you don't hear it. It's like,
Okay. So the 3 of you now, plus Wiggles and the Artist Pebble, are in that lab, the embalming laboratory belonging to Professor Crystaltooth. Mira, you lean in a bit closer. Can you remake me a stealth check, please? Or
Yes.
you didn't even make a stealth check. Can you just make me
No.
a stealth check with advantage because you're invisible, though?
Oh, okay. Roll 1 is a 17 plus something. Roll 2 is a 14 plus something.
31.
Plus 5. So
Oh my
17.
goodness.
I know.
bards.
22.
Jesus
Damn.
Christ.
Duh.
So Mira fades into
T-Swift.
the shadows as well, as she is just invisible, so it's pretty easy. And you can listen intently. Are you going to try to peek into the room anyway? The door's pretty open, so it wouldn't be difficult to try.
Yeah. I will sort of
And
just...
with your stealth check, it would be easy, right?
Yeah, I'm gonna kind of like put my eye up against the crack in the door, almost like you're looking through a peephole, like someone's knocked on your door in your apartment, and you're like, "Fuck is that?"
Okay.
Ew, gross people.
Right?
Okay. You'll hear Adeline continue after saying, I was not eavesdropping. I overheard it when she was speaking with her friends. They all seem to be involved in some sort of ill omen related to what we've been seeing, what the Lady of the Woods is seeing back in Ophelion. There seems to be some sort of terrible power here that they know about, and you need to tell me if what happened to her arm is related to any of that. If you know something, you need to say it. It's your obligation, Alaro. And Professor Alaro, you see her, Mira, she has this kind of graying hair, long and black, and she's wearing just like some like work slacks and like her rolled up kind of shirt that she always wears when she was working on your prosthetic and like in deep concentration and just not wanting clothes to be in the way. She seems to just have finished working on something in here and was maybe ambushed from your perception of things. And she's kind of leaning up against one of those big workbenches, and she looks kind of furious, Mira. And she'll even like poke Adeline in like the chest very aggressively and will say, "You're endangering students here on this campus. You're bringing in things larger than them, talking about ill omens and terrible powers. The girl lost her arm. It was an incident in the zoology department. There's nothing more to it than that. Stop listening in to what they're saying. They have lives and they have other things going on, and it's not your place to butt in and try to assign divine elements to them." And as this conversation's going on, Mira, can you make me a wisdom saving throw? As you very quickly see both of them together peeping through that little crack in the door.
Yes. Ooh, that's a good roll, because that's an 18 plus 0. 18.
Professor Alaro is the goat.
Okay. You, for a single moment, your arm throbs heavily as you witness the two of them standing next to one another. And you recognize that feeling and like prepare for what might come in that moment, similar to like when you saw Adeline standing at that banister and your arm throbbed and you went somewhere else, had a small vision, and you kind of prepare yourself, steel yourself, and you stay firmly planted in the current moment. And you hear Professor Alaro say, "I won't tell you what happened to Mira, and I won't tell you what anything else that's going on with them. In fact, I'm going to go to Headmaster Crow right now to just get you out of here since you're endangering our students." And Mira, you see her very briskly stand up and like start marching essentially towards the door you're standing behind.
Oh boy.
Yeah, I'm gonna like try to sort of scuttle away and toward the other door very quickly.
Okay.
Like not quite going in yet, just because I'm a little worried that Adeline might like do something to try to prevent her from going, and I don't want to disappear in that case, just in case there is trouble and I need to help. So I'm gonna step away from the door and like basically right beside like the door to the Embalming Lab so that I can slip in there if I need to, but I can keep an eye on here if necessary.
Okay. You you scuttle over quiet as a mouse and have your hand on the doorknob and kind of look over your shoulder, 1 foot in the door, 1 foot in the hallway, Mira, and watch for a moment just in case something escalates here. And you see Professor Alaro, you see Alma Alaro like essentially burst into that hallway. The gargoyles kind of all like a hush goes across them, and one of them goes, "Bad blood," at the top of its lungs, which I don't feel like you might think it helps the situation at all. And as Professor Alaro kind of turns to go down those stairs, you hear Adeline's voice from that lab go, "Alaro, if you go to the headmaster, you'll regret it. Trust me, you know I'm not threatening you. This is no idle threat."
I think that what I'm going to do, I guess to sort of break Adeline's focus from Alaro, is I'm going to invisibility was cast on me. I didn't cast
Yes.
it, so I should be good to cast a spell. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cast unless I'm not
If you
good to
take
cast a
any
spell.
action, you will become visible again.
Oh, including casting a spell? Okay, in that
Yes.
case, instead of casting Mage Hand, I'm basically just gonna like knock on the like front door in the room where Adeline is, like do kind of a threatening, almost ghostly like just fucking startle her, break her focus.
Fuck yes, demons.
Okay.
Make her
Make
not
an-
be looking at Alaro.
Make an intimidation check.
Damn, she
Sure.
already believes that there's something wicked at the school, and then now you're like, ghosts.
Okay, so that is a total of 7. That's a 2 plus 5.
Oh no.
You try to knock, but you miss the first time. Because great for Nickel.
Okay.
Oh god.
Let me pull something up quickly.
Oh god.
Uh-oh. Adeline combat.
The door is secretly a monster.
It bites up Mira's other arm off.
Oh my god, door mimic. I hate it.
Gargoyles.
As you knock, kind of, Mira, when you would go, this is a leading question. I might tell you
Oh,
where I'm
God.
going with this. When you would go and visit Professor Alaro, perchance, to be like, hey, can we do the prosthetic things? Does Mira knock in a specific way?
I feel like she probably
Like
does.
with like a cadence to her
little
knock.
rhythmic.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Syncopated knock.
Oh no.
Oh no.
I think that when you knock in a manner which is rhythmic and not intimidating in the least, kind of like letting the natural.
Excuse me, I'm here
Yeah.
for your office hours. Hello?
Exactly. It's even going to the same door that you would go and do that to, which is Professor Alaro's laboratory door. And so that knock almost accidentally gets out in the first 2 knocks, and then you slow it down and make it a bit more ominous. Professor Alaro, her eyes widen in like a recognition and look to an invisible, like just an empty space in front of her laboratory door. She's looking at you, but she cannot see you in this moment, and you see a flash of recognition in her eyes as if she knows exactly what is happening, Mira. And you'll hear a voice, Adeline's voice, getting angrier from inside the laboratory. You hear stomps as she is approaching the door itself, and she'll say, trying to scare me with little old school tricks, Alaro, this isn't going to end well for you. I know that you've enjoyed your time here, but going to the headmaster and telling him that another member of the council staff is interfering with things will just, I think, prematurely end things.
I'm going to knock again. So
Okay.
that to kind of I want to give Alaro an out from this situation is what I'm kind
Okay.
of going for.
Okay.
And also, I guess, try to scare Adeline a little here because now it's like, oh, she's not doing this.
Just
what
punch her.
role do you think this might be? Because I have a way that this could go. You could get someone else's attention, Mira, if you knocked really loudly. You might be able to draw the attention of the other professor in the department.
Yeah, would that be performance then?
I would say that's a performance
Okay.
kind of, right? Just to make the loudest possible knock.
Oh shit, the crows are coming.
14 plus. Okay, that's a 10, so 24.
Okay, 24.
Damn.
You just a full hand crack. Ow.
Oh my god!
What did you do?
Oh no.
I hit myself in the side of the head.
Oh no.
You just with a closed fist crack this door as loudly as you can, maybe even with your metal hand, and it makes this large ring sound, like wood on metal. And Professor Alaro will look back over to the door in a moment of shock, and Adeline, who has just exited from the lab, Mira, you see, looks at the door with a second thought as Professor Alaro kind of has taken a few steps back. You see in her hand is a small, like, titanium rod that she had pulled from a pouch, and she will, you hear a voice call from that office, the sound of paper bags stops being rustled through, and you hear a voice that goes, "Hello, is someone out there? What's going on out there?" And that one Professor Greybeard, kind of wanders out into the hallway. Professor Alaro seems to, a lot of the tension leaves her, and she gives one last glance to where you're standing invisibly, Mira. And Adeline will immediately, you can see a facade goes up. Her skin turns kind of flush and living like. Her hair grows fuller and more taken care of. Her eyes less sunken in. And she'll go, "Oh, Professor Greybeard, it's been such a long time since we've spoken. I was just having a quick meeting with Professor Alaro here about some work she might be able to do for the Lady of the Woods. But she's declined me, of course, as she would. And such wonderful employees in your department, Professor."
Asshole.
And she will bow slightly in a very diplomatic way towards Professor Alaro. Professor Alaro has the posture of like a cat who's been cornered in a alley, as it were, right? Like kind of like on alert, right? Like the tension is gone, but she still very much looks scared, Mira. And Adeline will say, "Well, I have work to get back to. It was great catching up with you, Alaro, and Professor Greybeard, you're welcome to come chat and have tea anytime you would like. Have a good afternoon, the two of you." And she will waltz down the stairs out of the necromancy department.
What a two-faced witch,
Get
I
fucked.
swear.
Bitch.
She sucks. I love her.
Professor Alaro does a quick explanation. Oh, she was just here asking about prosthetics, sir. And the department head, Professor Greybeard, will nod his head and go, I always wish that she would have stayed on and actually become a professor. In fact, maybe you could go and meet with her sometime before they leave and just make an offer to her. We are in need of more professors in the department, after all. And Professor Alaro kind of grits her teeth and goes, "Yeah, maybe I could do that, sir. Now, if you'll excuse me, I have some business to attend to on campus." And she will rush down the stairs out of the department. The Professor Greybeard will shrug his shoulders and from a bag of pork rinds that he's holding in his hand, grab one and take a big chomp. And then a fucking gargoyle will yell, "That was really crazy, wasn't it, sir?" And he'll just like, "Oh my god," and like pull those big earmuffs back over his head and like walk back into his office and slam the door closed this time.
I wonder why they're short-staffed. Why who would
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this building?
Just hire a gargoyle.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
just
hire a
pay them. They know
gargoyle.
that they've been listening to all the lectures. They know enough.
So Mira, you want to go into that lab
Yes,
now, the
now
embalming
that
lab?
the situation is, I wouldn't say diffused, but I would say finished. I'm gonna join my friends.
Absolutely. You walk over and enter the embalming lab and close the door. And all of you are in here now. The three of you, Mira excluded, I assume looked around a bit while she was running interference and saving Alaro from whatever fate she would have befallen.
Yes.
Inside this room, you all see there are a bunch of cabinets that have like purple stained glass, little windows. The actual structure of the cabinets, as you have investigated, seems to be made of like bones that are like aged and a dark brownish yellowy color to the appropriate color that when you saw it you were like, "Oh, what nice wooden cabinets, wow, that's pretty great carving." And then like you had a very sudden click of, those are just human bones or like elf bones probably, right?
Yikes.
And inside those cabinets there are just plentiful jars of different embalming fluids, embalming tools. There's like preserved heads and arms and like legs, different like pulled apart example pieces for like displaying the anatomy of a forearm or of like a like the neck or something like that. There's a cabinet similar to the rest that seems to be jars of like eyes and tongues. There's noses in one of them, and there's just a very large dragonborn hand that seems to be coppery in color, just suspended in this like almost greenish purple fluid in one of them. They're all in like these very nice looking crystal jars. Behind Jesus. Behind that purple stained glass. You're all in here. The door is closed. There might be less need for sneakiness, and you can talk kind of freely because no one else is really in the building, and the only other person's like in the other room with earmuffs on. So feel free to investigate and carry on as you were.
I am going to re-enlarge myself.
Perfectly. Winsler is back to being a tall 2'11".
Incredible.
The cabinet that houses the crystal jars of like the eyes and the tongues and everything, is there like a lock on it, or is there any like something specific?
Make an investigation check for me. And the rest of you might also do this if you wanted to check that one out. Mira, maybe not, as you walk in and are kind of, I don't know if you, what's your like headspace when you walk into the lab itself.
I'm still sort of like kind of going over in my head like, oh, I really didn't like that exchange. I really need to read that book, The Night of the Living Dead, that Injimani recommended to me, because I really, really hate this whole situation. Oh, I wonder if Delnus is going to see them when they get out of here. I wonder if she's going to know what happened. I wonder what I should tell her. I don't think she would react well to being told I'm suspicious of her mom, but I also don't think I should keep it from her. So I'm like mulling over that when I come in.
Yeah, absolutely. And the rest of you, if you wanted to investigate this one cabinet investigation rolls, what would you have gotten?
So in total, I got a 16.
Okay.
That would be a non-natural 20.
Oh,
Ooh.
very
Is
good.
this the only cabinet here?
There's other cabinets if you wanted to take a look at those ones instead.
Okay. Like, just because, like, it's just sort of funny that we're all, like, looking into
Well, it's the one with the thing you need in it, right? It's just why you're looking at it. But if there's other stuff you wanted, you can absolutely be looking for that, Integrity.
Could there be a pickled tentacle somewhere in here?
The pickled tentacles are stored inside the same cabinet that you're looking at.
Yes!
Based
I will take my share of at least one eye and one pickled tentacle.
Integrity, was there something else you were looking for?
based on the book that I read, like, all the way back in all the way back in the Delnus, the Wraithrin Manor.
Estate.
Estate.
The one that you had gotten from the Loft of Elders on alchemy, correct?
Yes. Are there
The one which had steps on how to make a homunculus.
Yes. Are there any parts for that here? I guess, like,
Yes.
Integrity's not, like, super sure.
Yes. The primary component of a homunculus is clay,
Okay.
but additionally, you need the heart of a small animal and at least 12 or 1 kilogram of dead bugs.
That's so... Dead bugs.
You might be able to find a preserved heart in this room.
I would like to also take that. Just because assuming that everyone else is grabbing the necessary materials.
So what was your investigation check then to find that?
I got 14 plus 4. 18.
Okay. 18. Okay. So what happens is Mira wanders in. You all hear the door close. You keep up the magic of invisibility if you'd want, or you can dispel it. That is your choice.
It lasts for an hour.
Okay, perfect. So
So-
just keep it and then zip out, still invisible. So an invisible Mira and Serenup are in this room. Winsler of a full size is in this room, and Integrity, one with the shadows, is in this room. Integrity, you wander around the different cabinets, looking in them and scanning through everything, looking for anything to help make your homunculus. You see a big old display piece that has like it's like a gradient of little tiny hearts that are like an inch tall to like a giant heart that's probably like you remember the heart that you ate at the in the Sunken Hatch, like that big one that you held with like 2 big hands, like that giant, presumably Nesca heart that you took a big bite out of. It's like that
Yes.
size. It looks, I would say, eerily similar to that.
It's too traumatic
Not rotted,
for me to not remember.
not rotted, but they are very preserved as if they're all on like little sticks. Like you guys have seen like model solar systems, right? In like
Yeah.
our world, it
Yeah.
looks like that except a bunch of hearts.
When you said a heart and a
Uh,
stick, I was thinking of like a caramel apple.
Oh.
Oh,
Amazing.
Gross.
They have this glassy surface finish as if they were
Oh my
dunked in liquid
God.
glass like a caramel apple.
Ew.
But there's small ones that belonged to little mice and rats, and there's larger ones that are like, there's just one that goes heart of a human donated by student circa 751.
Okay, I'm not grabbing the heart of a human.
Mm-hmm. Importantly, moving on, you found what you were looking for,
Okay.
and we can come back to it in a moment. Serenep and Winsler, you also go to examine that cabinet that has the like preserved eyes and tongues and noses and hand and some pickled tentacles of different varieties. Some of them are octopus, some are squid, some are other creatures of the depths, Winsler. You see one that says aboleth specimen, very careful, handle with care, and it has 2 very long coiled tentacles and a very big vat of like preservation fluid. And so Serenep and Winsler, you both see this, and Winsler specifically, you notice that the actual cabinet, these actual cabinets, there seems to be some sort of mechanism on the inside where like the latch is. Not like locking it, they seem to be unlocked, in fact. It just seems that something, you with a unnatural 20, something might happen if you were to open these without disarming whatever is set to go off. And you can communicate that to your friends if you would like, before any of them start opening cabinets willy-nilly. As you look over and see Integrity go, oh, hearts, and like reach for the handles.
Stop! I recommend we do not open these yet.
Why?
There's something on the inside of the cabinets that something might happen if we try to open them.
You mean like a trigger an alarm? Also, hey guys,
Wow.
Hey,
I'm over here.
I mean,
I
yeah.
just realized that doesn't help. I'm over by the countertop. So there's an alarm on them?
okay, that kind of makes sense. Like,
There could be an alarm. It could be something else.
Winsler, you look in, and as you look at it now, it looks like a little tiny, like pinky fingernail-sized, like bell that, like, it would probably go ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling if you were to ring it, but who fucking knows with magic, you know?
Yeah, it could be like, boom.
I mean, if it's something that makes noise, I can play the flute to fix that, if that's what we want to do. But I don't know if it's like a noise thing or if it's like a sprays packets of dye all over us so we're recognizable as thieves kind of thing, because there was a book I read about that once, or...
We could open a cabinet and find out.
No.
I
I don't
let's
think
not
that's a smart idea.
place that kind of risk on anything, please. Like, we can't keep getting caught doing this stuff.
Is this locking mechanism or this alarm system something that I have seen or am familiar with in the past?
It's not a locking mechanism, and you've definitely, I think in your own home, Integrity, your parents like put up little bells next to the windows, because there was like a moment, like a couple weeks when you guys were kids, that there was like a person going around breaking into homes in Dry Falls. So your
Damn.
parents put up like little wire, like fishing wire with attached to bells, so that if someone came in the windows, it would ring them. You never heard it go off, but looking at it, it seems to be a similar thing, where if you were to open the door, that bell would ring in some manner. But this is Wildcliff, and you assume it's not mundane.
Okay.
If people are okay with it, so it would make me visible because I would be casting a spell, and also we wouldn't be able to talk or hear each other throughout the room. But if it's a noise thing, I can just play my flute and make it so that there can't be any noise in the room, but only if that's something that people are cool with.
Okay.
We could do that.
So maybe before we do that, let's just make sure our plan is set in place, I guess, before we leave. So that way, once it's done and we get everything, we won't be like,
Panicking.
panicked and not knowing how to talk to each other. My thought process is once we get in, I have my bag with me. I could put the jar of eyes in there. When I cast invisibility again, that at least will also be hidden as well. So if someone does end up getting caught who is visible, at least in that case, it won't be, oh, you're stealing stuff, as opposed to, how did you get in here?
Mm-hmm.
Don't we also need a jar of brains or no?
It wouldn't hurt.
There's a jar of brains in this cabinet nonetheless.
Because I seem to recall Endemati saying something about it, but I don't know if it was just like she was just stating stuff.
Okay, eyes and brains.
We can put everything in my bag. I can wrap my scarf around the different things so they don't like clink together or anything like that.
Can you
And
also
we can just
put
The heart.
a small heart in your bag?
How big is the heart?
Which
Well,
one do you
it's
want,
just a
Integrity?
small
What
one.
animal do you want?
Why do you want a heart?
Is it bad if it's like a squirrel's heart?
Squirrel heart?
Oh
Yeah,
my
They
God.
absolutely have a little squirrel heart there.
I'm willing to if you tell me why you want a heart.
I want to create life.
Okay, so basically what we're doing right now, sure.
Yes,
okay.
but a smaller version.
Smaller
Like for
version of
Ida?
life.
Okay.
Oh.
Do you want to give? Do you want to have a flesh golem for Ida so that Ida has a body?
I mean,
Then
it's
she
a
could die.
Damn.
Gargoyle, you're not helping.
Damn, horrific realization.
There's the one gargoyle
Yeah,
who
gargoyle.
doesn't scream as loud, but it's just like in the room, like, yeah, then she could die as well. It's like, stop.
It is a necromancy gargoyle.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
So
He's a teaching
it's
assistant.
the TA, yeah. So
Yes.
Mira, you pull from where do you keep your flute? Just on like a holster around your waist?
No, I think that there's like a bunch of like inner pockets in my coat, and there's one that's like really long and thin that's built for wind instruments.
Perfect.
Okay.
The flute
The
pocket.
flute
You
pocket.
pull the
Usually
flute,
it would
the
be, I think
mute
it would hold
flute.
like a wand or a spellcasting
Or a
rod, but I
staff
don't
or
use it,
something,
so
yeah.
mine's
It's
for
just-
mine's for the flute.
Long instruments. You pull that from your robe. The rest of you ready and prepare yourselves. Mira,
Mhm.
you might play the flute and cast the spell Silence.
Yes.
Can you read what that does?
Yes.
It's very straightforward, but important.
Yes. So it's up to 10 minutes. For the duration, no sound can be created within or pass through a 20-foot radius sphere centered on a point you choose within range. So that'll just be the middle of
Perfect.
the room. Any creature or object entirely inside the sphere is immune to thunder damage, and creatures are deafened while entirely inside it. Casting a spell that includes a verbal component is impossible there.
Okay, perfect. So Mira gives a quick silent toot of the flute, and you all feel this silence emanate over you. Winsler and Integrity, do you want to open those cabinets?
Open the cabinet.
Yes, please.
Okay. I need both of you to make dexterity saving throws.
Uh-oh.
Is it gonna
wasn't
explode?
noise, it was explosions.
It was the marker, the spray mark or something like
Dexterity
that.
saving throws?
Yep.
16 plus 6, 22.
Nice.
16.
Flat?
Yeah.
Okay. So what happens is Mira gives a quick but silent of the flute. Everything goes quiet. And then Winsler and Integrity simultaneously open these cabinets, and Serenepth, you see very clearly, Serenepth and Integrity, you see very clearly that those bone handles, that bone that creates the frame of the actual shelves, the cabinets,
No.
the handle unfurls, and it's just a hand which reaches out to try to grab at your wrist as you open it. You see the little bell go like swing back and forth violently as if it is ringing insanely quickly, but no sound is created. But Integrity, you see this hand reach out to try to grasp you with his long skeletal fingers, and you just like pull your hand out. Winsler, you're not so lucky, and it just grabs you around the wrist.
It's the hand from Harry Potter where it's gonna.
Winslow,
Great.
can you take one cold damage, or one necrotic damage, I apologize, as this hand
Ow.
just digs into you. And you see the feet of the cabinets, they're like skeletal feet, and they like almost begin to walk towards you, like shuffle towards you.
What the fuck?
What are you all doing?
I wish to, from my pack.
Mm-hmm.
Do I still have it?
Yeah,
I think I still have it.
I think this is the moment that I think this is a moment, despite it being an hour and 23 minutes into recording, I hope this will go quick. I think this is the moment I say roll initiative.
Oh, shit.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
But just we haven't taken a rest since the duel, right?
Correct.
So it's still
Yes.
our
Oh,
spell
fuck.
slots and okay.
Yup.
I told you to take a nap, damn it.
Oh, 21. 19
Yes.
plus 2.
7.
Waste of a 19.
14.
Winsler,
16.
nice.
Let go of my hand, you fiend.
You catapult the cabinet out the window.
I'm gonna break the skeleton hand.
Oh shit.
Okay. So up first is Mira. What would you like to do? There's two shuffly little cabinets. One of them has grabbed Winsler by the wrist and seems to be... It looks as if the cabinets are going to pull you to the door and pull you to, like, essentially, like, the head of the department's office
my
to be
God.
like, we caught someone. That's the image of what is happening
Great.
here.
Okay. So in terms of the creature, or sorry, like the thing that
the cabinet.
is the cabinet, does it seem like there's a spell on the cabinet that is making it alive and making it...
They were inanimate, completely inanimate until the doors
Yeah.
were opened. So,
Yeah.
yes, it does
In
seem
that
something
case,
spell-like.
So it is only, this spell only requires somatic components. So can I
Perfect.
counterspell?
Ooh, can counterspell stop magic from happening, or is it only to like stop magic that is a magic that's about to be cast?
In
'Cause I
the
think-
process of casting a spell, it says.
Okay, so dispel magic would work, counterspell in this case would not.
Okay. In that case, that is more difficult.
Yes, I think that's the many times this has happened where you go, "Can I counterspell something?" I'm like, "Well, if you had
I
dispel
can't
magic."
counterspell anything, and even when I do, my counterspell gets counterspelled, which is fucking weird, by the way. Okay, perhaps this is not the time for spell casting. In that case, can I just like maybe try to go over to like Winsler and try to just physically like try to pry the hand off of him.
Make an athletics check, please.
Bonk.
Sure. 11 plus. Oh, I'm proficient in it. Okay.
Yeah, you
15.
are.
I'm proficient
15.
in everything.
With a 15, you grab that hand, that skeletal hand that is just wrapped around his wrist, and just try to pry it. It feels like you're trying to pull at stone with a 15. And you see it trying to maneuver one of its other arms on the other cabinet door, as if on its next turn it's going to try to snatch at you too. But
see.
you can't. With a 15, you do not unlatch it from Winsler's arm.
Okay.
Okay.
An attempt
and
was made.
That was your turn. Next up is Winsler. Wallaby, what would you like to do?
A cabinet is technically an object, right?
Yeah, maybe. Yes. Why?
Okay. Well, that's
You
probably
can.
not
I could
gonna
be
work.
convinced.
It's probably got stuff in it, right?
It does. It has tons of stuff in it. This is the tentacle one, so it's laden with a bunch of fluid and heavy tentacles and eyes.
What's on the central table?
The workshop table?
Yeah.
There's a giant handsaw, let's say, or a giant syringe too.
Oh boy, this is dangerous.
It's
How
saw.
heavy is the handsaw?
Both of them are sub 5 pounds.
Okay, this is going to be very dangerous.
Mhm.
Oh no.
Oh God, I'm scared.
I'm going to cast Catapult because it only has somatic, and I'm going to use the handsaw and catapult it straight at the hand that's grabbed me.
Oh, that's a dexterity saving throw on my part.
Another
Yes.
hand gone. Another hand gone.
It would be a dexterity.
How's a 2?
That's a failure. So
Perfect.
let's see how much damage this is gonna do. Okay. 12?
Perfect.
12 bludgeoning?
Okay, perfect. You all see an
Or
absolute-
whatever it would be, slashing, I don't know.
Sawing. You all see in absolute silence. Mira, you run over and try to pry at this thing. Again, absolute silence. Everything's fine here. None the wiser. And then Winsler, in a panic, flicks one finger towards the saw on the table, and it just stands upright. The blades, the teeth of the saw pointing directly at the three of you, and just flies at you all the faster than you've ever seen anything thrown ever. And Mira, you're like, oh my God, I'm gonna get absolutely cut in half. I'm gonna get cut. A saw is gonna get embedded in my arm. And then Winsler, you're like,
Again.
if it happens, it happens, and it just directly hits and smashes that. It not only smashes the handle completely off, and the bones just go click, 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 clink. Well, they would go click, 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 clink to the ground, except it's silence. It's a zone of silence. It also smashes through 6 panes of that beautiful stained glass, and the general cabinet structure itself just collapses, and all the jars smash against the ground.
It's
Great.
times like these I remember that Alma knows I was in here on this day.
Yes.
Oh my god.
So at your feet, Sereneth, Mira, and Winsler, there's just a giant pool of spreading, embalming, and preservation fluid. Big tentacles uncurl and schlop across the floor in absolute silence. Little eyeballs just roll everywhere. Tongues just land and splat quietly. It's a whole mess.
Oops.
Up next, Integrity Idleberry, a cabinet filled with hearts and little and a brain just schlops firmly on the ground in front of you. Integrity, there's a cabinet full of hearts that's trying to snatch at your wrists and
Yes.
bring you and tattle on you. What would you like to do?
I am going to, with one hand, quickly grab what I came there for, because
Okay.
I want that heart.
Make a sleight of hand check to as the cabinet doors flap as it's doofily walking towards you. You can just grab it quick as a bean.
I got 19 plus 6, 25.
Awesome. You again, as I was describing, it takes one lumbering step and a cabinet door goes like a person walking towards you without with a buttoned up shirt, but the buttons aren't done up. So every time they walk, one of the flaps moves open. Do you know what I'm talking about? Is that anything to anyone? But the cabinet doors flop, flop, flop as it walks towards you. As one of the doors flops open, you, Integrity, just "Whew, now's my chance," and stick out 3 fingers, your thumb and 2 fingers, and just grab the tiny little squirrel heart skewer and pull it back as the cabinet door slams shut, and that little skeletal hand goes yeah, and just barely misses you. You
It's
now
like
are in
Diane
possession-
Danger stealing objects off a cliff.
Oh my God.
You are in possession of a preserved squirrel heart. It looks like a little candy apple on a stick. What would you like to do now? Do you just want to run?
I can only do movement after this, right?
Or a bonus action?
Can I, with my bonus action, with the other hand, because my assumption is like I use like my left hand to quickly grab the heart.
The heart.
And with the other hand, I'm going to sort of like, I don't know, because like I have this fear of breaking everything.
Yes.
Because like they already broke everything back there. So I sort of want to stop this skeleton as gently as possible.
Of course.
So I would like to try and shock it.
With what?
With my squall.
Like with an offhand strike, as it were?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. You can do that. Make
Like
your attack.
like a papa.
Yeah, make your attack.
Okay.
I'm no stickler for rules, and this is pretty loosey-goosey as it goes, so feel free.
So I got an 11. Does that hit?
Absolutely not. It does not hit.
Okay.
You all would have heard a terrible sound of just metal against glass. Luckily, zone of silence, so none of you are any wiser that was a potential horrible thing you could have heard, as you're all just concerned with the potential slopping noises of all these body parts falling in front of you. Up next, Serenepth. What are you doing? Everything's gone to shit. The plan
Jesus
has fallen apart.
Christ.
As usual.
None of my plans, just nothing. Nothing ever works. I'm okay.
All the execution to get to this point was amazing, and then you just smashed the cabinet.
It's like a heist movie. Like they've planned the entry, they've planned the exit, but something always has to go wrong if you know the plan.
Yeah. So what's up,
Okay.
Serenepth? What are you up to?
With everything that we've seen thus far,
Mhm.
could I try and because the reason that these cabinets have gone off is because the door was opened and everything like that.
Yes.
Could I try to reactivate it and get the cabinet doors shut on the one that's going after integrity to make it then stop moving?
Make a sleight of hand check, because that's a really
Got
funny idea.
Just to try and get it to properly turn off and stop, and then we can get it back in place, and that's it. For at least that one. That is in total 17.
Okay, that is exactly what you needed.
Fuck yes.
Serenepth, you dash over to your cousin. The doors are flapping as it's just trying to snatch at Integrity's wrist. You all see that there's a skull on the top of the at the apex of the cabinet on the top, and the little jaw is just going cha 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 cha, opening and closing rapidly, and presumably would be making a teeth chattering noise. Would you be able to hear it? But fortunately you can't. Serenepth, you run over. You see next to that bell that's just ringing violently, there's a little loop that goes on a pin, and with quick and fast hands, you just loop that back onto the cabinet and give both the doors a quick shut as the little skeleton arms start reaching for you. For your hands to just grab you and hold you in place, and then the doors go click. You feel the click, you don't hear it, and the skeletal hands just descend back into being regular handles as the cabinet now stands in the middle of the embalming laboratory, completely inanimate. You've all succeeded in cabinet combat.
I think with everything that happened there, in the shock of it, I lost concentration and
Are now
Sarah's just visibly
visible.
her hands against the door,
Yes.
leaning against it.
Absolutely.
She doesn't look at the others.
Mhm.
She casts levitate on the object and moves it back to
in-
where it was supposed to be.
Perfect.
And she turns around and she looks at Winsler.
Winsler, the hand bones are dangling on the floor in front of you. In front of you, the water is the fluid is seeping into your shoes a little bit. Do you want to just carefully grab some of the things you need, like eyes and a brain and some tentacles, if you'd like?
Yeah, I'll also. Can I even do that?
Mending?
In this zone of silence? I can't.
Ooh. Oh shit!
I can't.
If you want me to end it, you can give me a knowing look and just point to your ear or something.
I might do that. I'll just frantically point at my ear to Mira.
I'll point at mine, and then I'll look around at everyone and kind of give them a tentative, the thumbs up, but you're sort of moving the thumbs back and forth. Should I drop it now? Am I good? I point
Sarah's
to
just
my
looking-
ear.
Serenep's just looking for
Shrug.
like empty jars, like any kind of empty jars laying out that she can put start putting stuff into. She's not watching
Yeah.
this. She's like, I have to finish my job, please.
I point to Integrity. I go, you, point to her. Ear, point. Good, thumbs up.
And I'm going to do like a thumbs up dance.
Because
Because I got my goodie.
In one of her hands is like a little candy apple heart, essentially.
Ew.
And Mira, you can hold up the flute and suck in, and the silent spell ends.
Nice.
Someone pretending to play the flute, like,
But backwards. You just back in
but
the
backwards.
note.
It's like a harmonica, the noise that appears when that happens.
And immediately all of you are given the chance to hear the wonderful sound of the body parts on the ground going slap, 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 slap,
Ew.
slap on the like the glass and like the fluid of everything. You hear like a little eyeballs rolling on the ground and,
Ew.
and can all speak to one another again.
I'm gonna quickly pick up an eyeball and a tentacle and like put them in my bag, and I'm gonna frantically casting mending on like the broken jars and putting stuff back in.
Serenep, you grab like a intact crystal jar from like an work table and like rush over and start like scooping things up as well as Winslow like mends them and like scoops things into like just a miscellaneous jar of eyeballs and tentacles and a brain all in one. And you can all quickly do this in like a hushed and like a really stressed silence. So you can successfully have gathered your requisite materials, like 7 eyeballs or something, and a brain or 2, and Winslow, your tentacles that you wanted to have. What do we do now, folks?
Exit.
Exit. Just out through the front door?
I mean,
Yeah.
Okay.
yeah,
In
sure.
Okay, you creak open this lab door. Everyone kind of rushes out. The messy cabinet left there in the Serenep. What's up?
I'm invisible again.
Okay, Serenep is invisible. You all rush out. The mess left on the center of the floor in Professor Crystal Tooth's lab, and you just very quickly ka-chunk close the door on that little problem. Maybe it'll never come back up. And I need all of you, excluding Serenep, to make stealth checks.
Oh shit!
With
not again.
advantage though, because as you all walk out into the hallway, the gargoyles go, "Oh, look who's so kind as to join us
Oh
again!"
my god. 114, 14, 14 plus 5, so 19.
17.
Okay.
22.
Okay. And then Serenep, the yelling of the gargoyles covers any possible sound that your footsteps would make. The rest of you can quickly hustle down those stairs, and you come to the front iron doors. More gargoyles are just yelling at one another like, "So do you think that if we got out of here in some way that they would make us staff or faculty? Do you think we'd get benefits from that?" As they're just yelling back and forth
Oh
from
my
one another.
God.
You guys can just run to the front door. You see a very worried-looking Delnis, or she's not as worried as she was looking before. She looks, in a word, much like she just like finished having a conversation with someone that she didn't expect to see today. And will look over at you all and walk forwards and open the door. You can all exit from the necromancy department, close the door. One of you just picks up that padlock on the ground and goes kerchunk and closes it back up for the day.
A successful operation. Well,
And
the operation
successful,
comes
I
later,
guess.
Yeah, and Delnis says, I didn't know my mom. I didn't know my mom was in there. Her and Professor Alaro came out and were like talking to me for a quick second, and there was it was really tense for a moment. Did they see you? Because
No,
Professor
but
Alaro
I-
was like looking at me like she knew.
No. Well, okay. So I overheard them and they were kind of arguing. It was like a whole thing. And so I was invisible and I wanted to make that not happen. So I like made a noise, but I think Professor Alaro could tell it was me, but I don't think that your mom could, but that kind of stopped the whole thing. And then they went out. So it's probably that.
Okay. And you all have this conversation as you head back towards presumably the concourse, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
And our heisters complete, leaving mayhem in their path and angry
As we
professors and unknown people. We will leave this episode and come back next week to see how everything turns out. Ben, could you give us an outro for episode 150,
Sure.
the necromancy heist?
Thank you for listening to this episode of Trials and Trebuchets. If you really enjoyed it, please leave a review on our Apple Podcast page. We love to hear from you. We love reading all of them. We read all of them all the time.
Yes.
They're very nice. They're very cool, and we love them a lot.
Yes.
We also have social media pages for Instagram and Twitter at Trials and Trebs. You can check out some cool fan art that gets posted there. You can see teasers for upcoming episodes. Lots of cool stuff. If you have fan art, be sure to tag us so that we can see it. We also love to see fan art. That's really cool. Very great.
It's awesome.
Very incredible. We also have a link to our Discord server in the description below. There you can click the link and join to meet with a bunch of cool people and have some cool conversations and enjoy the podcast together.
Yes.
It's very good.
Yes.
For those who are feeling a little extra generous, we also have a Patreon page, and you can donate to us to gain access to exclusive features such as bloopers, notes. You may even have the potential to have your own NPC student show up in the podcast. Who knows?
If you get in there quick and fast.
And basically, that just helps us with a lot of costs to keep on going and keep the podcast going. So
yes,
it's nice.
Super helpful. Thank you everyone for listening this week. I hope you enjoyed the necromancy heist that went so well until it didn't, and I hope that you tune in next week for presumably some flesh golem business and maybe a potluck. Until then, bye.
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 Why, hello and welcome to a dark and wicked December morning. It's 1:11 a.m. on the day that this episode is coming out, and you might have noticed that this isn't the first episode to come out this month. But again, I refer back to the dark and dreariness of December itself. Please excuse that I didn't thank you last week, folks. I was alone. My friends abandoned me for vacation. Nonetheless, it's the start of the month. I'm here. I'm Luke. I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I'm here to thank our new patrons from November. I'm very sorry that I forgot about you last week. It was less forgetting and more life got in the way of me recording something at 1 a.m. in my closet. But I'm here for you this week. I'm here to thank you. I'm here to say thanks to Andreas Damer. Thank you super a bunch. We appreciate your support. And then secondarily, the two of two, thank you very much, Smelly or Melly. I hope I got that one right. And your name with the added S to the start to make it Smelly made me laugh very hard before I started recording. So thank you to those two new patrons. We appreciate your support. To every patron who's ever been our patron and patronized us, given us monetary support. Holy cannoli. Thank you so much. You let us make this show. You let us make fun things. And I hope that that continues to be the case. And I hope that you continue enjoying the show and supporting us. And I hope it's this fun little cycle until the end of time. But until then, take care of yourself. This dark and dreary December. In the Northern Hemisphere, I think in the Southern Hemisphere, it's probably pretty nice. But in the Northern Hemisphere, dreariness and snow, desolation rampaging through the winter months. Bye. Thank you.